Does it violate a defendant's Sixth Amendment right to counsel if the police conduct an identification procedure without giving counsel the ability to attend? To find out, you have to read United States v. Wade, but it's 29 pages. Don't have time for that? I've got you covered. This is TLDR, a channel where I normally cover New York Court of Appeals cases, and I try to do it in 5 minutes or less. But this is a special episode on the landmark case of United States v. Wade, citation 388 U.S. 218. This landmark case came into the spotlight on June 12, 1967, when it was decided by the United States Supreme Court. It's a case that to this day is discussed, dissected, and deliberated by prosecutors, defense counsel, and judges. It's one of those cases that have left an indelible mark on the American legal landscape, because it explored and defined the contours of the Sixth Amendment right to counsel. To fully grasp the essence of this case, let's delve into the background law. The Sixth Amendment to the United States Constitution, a part of the Bill of Rights, guarantees a cluster of rights designed to make criminal prosecutions more accurate, fair, and legitimate. Central to these rights is the right to counsel. This means that in a criminal prosecution, the defendant has the right to have the assistance of counsel, that is, lawyers, and if the defendant cannot afford a lawyer, the government is required to provide one. Before United States v. Wade, the interpretation of this right was not as expansive as it is today. It was generally understood to mean that a defendant has the right to a lawyer during trial but not necessarily at every stage of the criminal prosecution process. The distinction might seem minute, but as we'll see, it carries enormous implications. This understanding sets the stage for the intriguing facts of United States v. Wade. Now let's unravel the facts that led to this groundbreaking decision. Our story begins in the heart of Dallas, Texas. A gentleman by the name of Gilbert Lee Wade was accused of a bank robbery in which the robber wore specific clothing, used tape to disguise his face, and spoke specific words to bank staff. Following his indictment, Wade was appointed a lawyer by the judge. But 15 days later, without any notice to the lawyer, the FBI placed Wade in a lineup, had him wear tape on his face and say the words of the bank robber, and he was identified as the bank robber by multiple witnesses at the same time. The key point here is that this identification process happened without Wade's lawyer being present or even notified that the procedure would take place. Yes, you heard it right. Wade was left to navigate this crucial stage of the investigation without any legal counsel. Wade's lawyer argued that this failure to have counsel present at the lineup was a violation of his client's constitutional rights. This argument set the ball rolling towards a legal showdown. These facts led to a legal proceeding that would change the interpretation of the Sixth Amendment. The journey of this case through the courts is an interesting one. The saga began when Wade was convicted in a Texas district court, who found that the lawyer's presence was not necessary at the lineup. Unhappy with the outcome, Wade appealed to the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals, claiming that his Sixth Amendment rights had been violated because he didn't have counsel present during a police lineup. The appellate court, however, disagreed and upheld his conviction. Undeterred, Wade took his case to the highest court in the land, the United States Supreme Court. The Supreme Court agreed to hear his case, and it was here that the justices would make a landmark decision about the role of counsel in police lineups. The Supreme Court's decision in United States v. Wade was indeed a landmark one. The Supreme Court grappled with the role of a defense lawyer under the Sixth Amendment. Is the lawyer's role merely to assist the defendant at trial, or is it bigger than that? They found that the right to counsel was not limited to the trial itself, but extends to any critical confrontation by the prosecution. The lineup, they concluded, was just such a confrontation. The majority held that the post-indictment lineup, without the presence of the defendant's counsel, violated the Sixth Amendment's guarantee to counsel. They reasoned that for a defense counsel to be able to properly guide and protect his or client at trial, counsel must be allowed to be at the lineup to learn about what took place and therefore be in a position to cross-examine witnesses about the suggestiveness or fairness of the lineup itself. As a result, the majority vacated the conviction as a violation of the Sixth Amendment right of counsel. Wade got a new trial. However, the dissenting justices argued otherwise. They contended that the lineup was merely a preliminary step in the investigative process, not a critical stage requiring the presence of counsel. They believed the right to counsel was intended to assure a fair trial, not to transform pretrial procedures into adversarial proceedings. The majority's rationale was rooted in their belief that an accused should have legal assistance when his rights could be affected. The dissent, on the other hand, saw the lineup as a tool for law enforcement, not a stage of prosecution. This decision had far-reaching implications, forever altering the landscape of criminal law. The impact of United States v. Wade continues to reverberate through our legal system because it holds that when the police exclude defense counsel from a critical stage of the prosecution, it undermines the very trial itself, and the conviction can be thrown out. This landmark case has become a cornerstone for subsequent rulings, shaping the interpretation and application of the Sixth Amendment. Its reach extends beyond the courtroom, influencing the way legal counsel operates and how defendants understand their rights. It's a compelling example of how one decision can echo across decades, constantly informing and evolving our understanding of justice. Thus, United States v. Wade stands as a testament to the evolution of our understanding of the right to counsel.
If you like what you just saw and want to see more just like it, please hit like or subscribe to let me know.